Hi, how are you guys doing? Today I'm just trying to continue on the Jewish Christianity. We talked about a lot about the Jewish people. Who are these Jewish people? For the past 2500 years, these people were chased out of the country, they were persecuted, they were vandalized, those women were put into a lot of agony and a lot of troubles, and they've never been allowed to come back to the country for the 2500 years. But still, God was with them, and they were brought back again to that country, and they established the country today at a greater level than one could expect or one could imagine. Christianity, the biggest mistake of the Christianity is that they separated Jesus from the Jewish. In fact, as I said the last time, Jesus was only, living and practicing all the Jewish culture and the Jewish traditions. But Christian people, what they thought was, Jesus was the only one good Jewish guy who cared about the public, who cared about the Gentiles. All the other Jewish people were so bad, that's why they were rejecting all the Jewish people, and they thought Jesus was the right one. But in fact, Jesus did so many things based on only the Jewish culture. What he did, basically, as a rabbi or as a preacher or teacher, what he was doing. As a rabbi, first thing, Jesus was especially concerned about the healing. He was healing the body. He was healing the physique. He was healing the lame people. He was healing the blind people. He was healing the people, those who were paralyzed. And he was healing the people, those who were psychologically affected. So he was concerned about the body. Remember that body is very important. Jesus talked about church as a body. So he was concerned about the body. He fed the people all the time. So what he is telling by doing these things, in these miracles and feeding the people, as Christians or as followers of Jesus Christ, we need to, as a body of the church, we need to provide the same thing to the other people. We need to take care of the people, those who are illness, sickness, provide them. This is what Jesus was telling through his miracles and through his work when he was in Jerusalem doing his ministries. Second, he was a teacher. When he was a teacher, he was teaching so many things. I mean, his teachings were unimaginable. He was teaching parables. Parables are heavenly messages within earthly stories. There are a lot of things that we miscalculate about the parables. One of the parables we always see that 99 sheep was there in that with a shepherd, and one sheep was lost, and the shepherd was behind searching that one sheep. And then also there was a coin was lost. 99 coins were there, and one coin was lost. And the Bible says that that for the one sinner's sake, for the repentance of the one sinner's sake, heavens will be more rejoiceful than the 99 righteous. But actually, in the Jewish way of approaching these parables are about the counts. About the count, because it is 99 sheep and you missed one sheep. How come you can miss one count on that one? That's the count they are looking into. Also, 99 coins and you miss one coin. How come you miss one coin there? It's about the count. For example, in the parable of the prodigal son goes out of the house and he comes back, and the father gives him a big celebration. And remember that. And when the elder son heard about this one, he was so upset about this one. He was so upset about what was going on. It was again thing. The father had two sons. He could able to hire the band set, he could able to hire the banquets, and he could able to hire everything. But how come he forgot to tell to his own son? So he forgot totally to tell about that all these things happening. When he could able to arrange all these things, couldn't he able to do one word? So he totally forgot, or he totally omitted what happened there. He missed the count. He had two sons. He missing one. So the same way, the way the Jewish people are looking into are totally different than what we observe into. So as a two, one has to be, missing. We need to find that missing and help the missing and treat the missing in a way that what Bible is expected. And also, Israel means it is about the one who wrestled with God. Jesus was basically wrestling with the Sadducees and Pharisees and other Jewish people by the biblical text. They were surprised to see the knowledge of Jesus. Because how come he knew? Because he was only 12 years old, but he talks about as if he was the father of Abraham. He knows all the stories of Abraham. They were taken into a lot of surprises, folk. It was really unbelievable for them. Because Jesus was the Word. Jesus, the Word himself, but he knew everything, right? So, when he was talking about, Jesus also, when he was on his birth, as a Word, he was put into a manger. Manger means it's a feeding trough for the cows or the sheep. It's a feeding trough. So Jesus was kept in a manger, meaning the bread is kept in a feeding trough where you can find the bread in a feeding place. So that's what symbolically, see how he represents himself and why Jesus was put in manger, because he was a Word and he was a bread of life, and he was put in the feeding trough where it has been fed to the goats, where it feeds the humankind. See, Jesus was expressing himself completely, totally into the Jewish culture and Jewish nature. Even when he talked about the law, he was one step above the law. Always. When he said that, do not kill. But Jesus was telling, do not get angry, because anger may end up into killing. So Jesus was always one step higher than the law, but he never forgot those laws, because Old Testaments are the basics for the New Testament. We cannot just totally neglect the Old Testament, whatever it is, and take Christianity into a different path. Some people say that, Christians can live as Christians and Jewish can live as a Jewish people, but when Jesus comes in, then, then the final day comes in for second time for the Jesus coming back, and first time as Messiah for the Jewish people. Jesus, Messiah, will come. When he comes in, he will deal everything together, and he will, take everything into considerations. But still, as basic logically speaking, you think about this one. Your leader is your Jesus Christ, and he followed completely, thoroughly all the laws and all the Jewish path, traditions. If you want to follow, wouldn't you able to follow that? Wouldn't you able to do the same thing what he's supposed to do? That's what we should have been taught, that's what we should have been done. That's what I was telling to you, that Christianity totally taken out the Jewishness of Jesus, and they started practicing on their own. But still, they were doing all the good things in the world. But is it belongs to, is it been attacked? Are we able to get the Jewish people into the line? And one of the things that I said that yesterday also I told about the preaching the gospel all over the world, the ends of the world, because Jewish kind is mixed all over the world, and we need to get them inside the kingdom by telling the gospel, because Jewish people are missing the Messiah, and we have the Messiah. God has given the Messiah to us. We need to preach them and teach them. Folks, it is almost a sin if we don't go and spread out the gospel to the Jewish people especially. It is a must for us, because that's what God was expecting us to do, the gospel work among the Jewish people. Get them in. So in order to do them, we need to get the Jewishness into us. If we don't get it, they are not going to accept us. People think that it is easily possible when Jesus comes and he can make everything straight up. How come in one tree, two branches giving two separate fruits? Logically, it's not possible. There should be only one tree We are a wild branch, we are cutting and we are going joining in that one, but we are going to take the source from that root and produce the good fruits like the other branches. That's how it should be. So the gospel, what we are supposed to do is we are supposed to read the New Testament, in the Jewish context. It is not should be read totally apart from the Jewish context. Basically, Jesus lived the way that he was living. We are also all called as sons and daughters of God. Because even if you take in Matthew chapter, it starts like this. It starts with Jesus and goes and ends back to the genealogy of Adam. When it goes and ends back to Adam, and then it says that Adam was son of God. Jesus was son of God. And as we are also son of God, son of daughters and children of God. So Jesus was, it is not being taken to say that he was not so proud that he was son of God, because he proved that everybody was children of God. So my folks, I'm telling you, we need to get back into the Jewishness. We need to find the Jewishness, how we can interpret the Bible, how we can do the Jewishness of the God. And that interpretation and the working along with the Jewish and get the Jewishness into ourselves and express ourselves. And there is a big responsibility for us to get the Jewish people Messiah, because we have the Messiah in us, and this Messiah should be conveyed to the Jewish people. And that is our biggest task. And if we fail it, it is almost equal to a sin, because Messiah was given to us and we are not sharing it. I hope you understand everything, but it is not the criticization of any other denominations. And I know by this time what I'm talking to. So hope you understand the Jewishness of Jesus and the Jewishness of Christianity people, and we need to balance it out right now, folks. I'll come back with something else next time. Until then, be safe, Shabbat Shalom, and Shavua Tov. Bye.